Hello, everyone. It's Father Norm again, St. Vincent Parish, Akron, Ohio. It's always good to connect with you in this way, especially as I've mentioned a few times. I also appreciate if you ever get back to me. Certainly value your feedback, particularly on these times that we talk a little bit about our faith. Today, I want to ask this, and I ask myself this too. Have you ever been in a situation where you know following the will of Jesus, who was so self-giving and gave to the point of the cross, where you thought, you know what, at times that's just too difficult. Or maybe you did something and thought, I must have disappointed the Lord there because I didn't do what I had the sense that he wanted me to do. As you know me, here's a quick story. When I was fairly newly ordained, I remember a woman coming to talk to me after Mass. I was at St. Barnabas Parish at the time. And she told me after Mass that her husband was ill and would I come visit him in the hospital. And that would have been up in Cleveland. And I said, sure. I said, back then, 48 years ago, it was such that a lot of people stayed in the hospital 3 or 4 or 5 days, and you'd see him within the next few days. So I told her, yep, I'd visit him. She said, thank you very much. Real grateful for that. It was a good experience. I felt I was trying to be unselfish, do what I'm called to do to see somebody ill and to be able to pray with them and for them. I was looking forward to that. And then on Tuesday, this same woman called me up and at the rectory on Tuesday evening, furious, angry, frustrated, disappointed with me. And boy, I was feeling it even before she got to tell me why. And she said, hey, I told you my husband was ill and you didn't come visit him. And you said you would. And what kind of a priest are you anyway? You should have seen him by now. And of course, my own internal response was somewhat defensive, but thinking, well, gee, she didn't tell me he was that ill. But still, I took what she had to say and I took the anger seriously. And I remember listening to her. And then when I got off the phone, I went into this overreaction internally. I still smile looking back then, but I wasn't smiling then. It was like, oh my gosh, I've been a priest for a year. I've already fallen short. One woman asked me just to see her sick husband. I didn't do it. He died. What kind of priest am I? And I was very troubled and even put myself down quite a bit and even thinking, yeah, I needed to because I needed to have this guilt because I wasn't the priest who was so totally giving of somebody in dire need. Well, I got through that, but I also knew that maybe I needed to talk with somebody about what was going on internally. And usually, from time to time, I would see my spiritual director and talk to him. He knew me well. So I called him up. His name was Father Tony. And by the way, that's spam that's coming to me. You can see this is live, almost. Anyway, back to where I was. That Tony was my spiritual director, Father Tony, that I would see him. And so I would see him and I talked about the situation. I said, Tony, I'm trying to be a good priest. I'm trying to be self-giving. I'm trying to have sacrificial love like Jesus. And I messed up. And we talked about that. And he asked me a few questions that were helpful. He said to me, well, when you talked to this woman on Sunday, did she say her husband was very ill? No, he just said he was in the hospital. Did she say you should see him in a couple of days because he may not make it? No. I told her I'd see her within the next few days, probably midweek. And then I talked to her further, and he said, well, on Monday and Tuesday when you didn't go, were you just lying around the rectory and doing nothing? I said, no, you know me. I was active all day, morning till evening. Okay. And then when she called you and she's really angry, he said, think about this. Is her anger only about you? And I reflected and said, well, she got to be angry that her husband died. Yes. And said that, maybe you're taking on some of that anger. Tony helped me to see that in that case, a real situation, and acknowledging her feelings and understanding her feelings, but not then getting in this inner turmoil of, I made a mess of things, I wasn't self-giving. From what Tony said, no, you were taking the good steps there. You were planning to get there. There's things you need to look at, but I remember him saying, you got to watch, Norm, because you can get into this. I got to be for everybody, every day, everything, and from morning till night, just doing the love of Jesus. And I remember him saying there, and because he said, I needed to tell you this sooner, you're going to watch, you could burn yourself out. You need to also take care of yourself. And one of the things, even when people respond, listen to it, try to understand it. Maybe what they're saying to you is legitimate and you need to take it in and grow. Maybe it's not. You can't please everybody all the time. Again, come back prayerfully. I'm glad you came to see me, he said, and really try to seek the will of God, who in this case is saying, hey, you responded in love. You didn't do something out of self-centeredness. And what basically the prayer told me, now go to her, talk to her, because you're going to do her husband's funeral, listen to her. And even if you need to say, gee, I'm sorry it happened this way, but don't get carried away with it. Stay true to what I'm asking of you. And I'm also asking you, Jesus saying, then and now, to take care of yourself. So, hey, to all of you, go the extra mile, but make sure you also take care of yourself. As my Tony told me, 48 years ago, you're not going to be good for anybody else if you're not taking care of you in a sacred way. God bless.